because we've been hearing from the European Commission, who have said a firm no to what Lord Frost said earlier on in the House of Commons today.
Yeah, the timeline of this is that Lord Frost stood up, made his statement. It became clear that the British government wanted a complete renegotiation of the Northern Ireland Protocol. The initial response was muted. Frankly, from my perspective, it was a series of messages coming to me from people who sent rolling eyes emojis, the text being, we've heard this all before, we are fed up of this rhetoric. But then we got a statement from the Vice President of the European Commission, Maros Šefčovič, who is effectively now in charge of enacting Brexit negotiations. And Maros Šefčovič said this: "We will continue to engage with the UK on the suggestions made today. We are ready to continue to seek creative solutions within the framework of the protocol in the interest of all communities in Northern Ireland. However," he said, "we will not agree to a renegotiation of the protocol." And since then, a number of diplomats here have said to me, read what Šefčovič said, and that is our line too. I think most of the EU has pretty quickly rolled in behind. Now, one of the things that annoys the European Union enormously is the suggestion that they hear from the British government that it is they, the European nations, who are jeopardising the Good Friday Agreement. The EU response is inevitably that one of their member states, Ireland, is clearly fundamental to the Good Friday Agreement, and that they are acting on their behalf. And to that end, Prime Minister of Ireland, Michael Martin, was speaking a little bit earlier and giving his reaction, determination, I think, to see some sort of movement, but also he knows that he's part of the EU. Here's what he had to say.
The European Union has always been ready to engage in a positive way. There has to be quid pro quo, there has to be engagement on both sides. The European Union stands ready to engage with the United Kingdom in relation to these issues, and that's where it rests right now.
Let me give you a bit of reaction also that's come to me from senior diplomats here in Brussels, those who would be involved in the renegotiations. One just came to me and said, Brussels has grown wary of the Tory party constantly being perpetrator and victim of its own actions. The Northern Ireland Protocol was a stepping stone for the trade agreement. You can't alter one and expect the other to stay. That, by the way, raising the spectre that were you somehow to persuade the EU to strip out the European Court of Justice and renegotiate the Northern Ireland Protocol, there is a belief here that that would mean having to reopen talks around the entire withdrawal agreement. For everyone who celebrated the end of Brexit talks, that is the spectre that now sits on the horizon. And this from another very senior figure in European politics. Northern Ireland Protocol was negotiated and signed by Boris Johnson. It was ratified by the UK Parliament. We now expect the UK to implement what it has negotiated, signed and ratified. No ifs, no buts, no excuses. That is a theme you hear a lot here. That the UK signed up to this, you have to put it in action. You can't buy a house, get to the point where you hand over the money and then say, it's outrageous how much you're charging me. Their contention is always that Britain signed up for this. And by the way, one final thought, the idea, according to EU diplomats I've spoken to, that A, they would reopen negotiations, but B, that they would take the European Court of Justice out of this deal, they say is utterly fanciful. There is a thought in their minds that this is all a stalling tactic, that if the UK government really is proposing this, then everyone knows that this is a proposal that is simply unacceptable.